Okay, let's talk about the operating cycle. The operating cycle and its cash cycle is shown in this chart. This is an awesome chart. I strongly urge you to remember it for exams and other times when you need to remember what's going on. So if you just read across, we have a system of building something and then selling it. We have raw material purchased, then we have finished goods sold, and then cash received. So raw materials purchased, we will place an order for the raw materials, and that takes some time before the stock arrives. When the stock arrives, we start turning it into a product. That is our inventory period. So it could be raw goods inventory, or it could be partially finished goods inventory, or it could be finished goods inventory. And it's all in inventory until finished goods are sold. When the finished goods are sold, we enter into an accounts receivable period until we receive the cash. Obviously, if it's a cash sale, the receivables period is 0. If it's not a cash sale, there will be some time to get the money back. And credit card sales are instant money, so it's not used a credit card to buy it. It's that there's actually trade credit going out where you're actually not receiving the cash coming in. Credit cards do allow you to receive the cash coming in right then. Underneath that is the accounts payable period. Now the accounts payable period is not equal to the inventory period. So when the stock arrives, you have to start paying for it. A lot of times they will give you terms, 2 and 10 net 20 or 2 and 10 net 10. You'll get a 2% discount in 10 days or net 10 days, 20 days, 30 days. You have to pay the bill. So 2 and 10 net 30 is 2% discount if you pay it within 10 days, or the full bill is due at 30 days. Is very common. So sometimes your accounts payable period, you want to shorten that up. I love 2 and 10. We pay early, take that discount. But if you don't have the cash flow, 30 days is okay. Or you can start negotiating with your vendors and extend the 30 to 60 to 90 if cash flow is tight, to extend that payable period so you don't have to put the cash flow out so fast. So the accounts payable period and the inventory period do not align. So the time from when the firm receives the invoice until it's paid for the materials could be up to 30 days. But by the time you turn the raw goods into a finished product, ship it, and get the customer to buy it, could be more than 30 days. So that is a different amount of time. So the operating cycle, you can see here underneath it, is longer. From the time the stock arrives until the cash is received is your operating cycle. So your operating cycle is, here's the stuff, we start owing money on it, and here's when we collect the money. That's your operating cycle. Your payable cycle is probably before that, which means you need to be paying for everything before you receive the money back in, which means you need net working capital to fund this gap. The cash cycle, as you can see, is the gap that I'm talking to, which is the accounts payable period and the cash received. So if you think about the cash cycle is, I have got credit, I've received the material, I've turned it into a product, now I pay the bill. That's money going out. Well, until I get that money coming in, my cash is out there, and I need to fund that somehow. So if there's a way to augment that, so cash in the bank is one way to do it, or having longer trade credit, so the time until you have to pay is longer, so that time is shorter that you have cash out there. That's one way to do it. Another way to do it is to have a product that when the materials come in, you turn them into something and get them out right away and turn that into cash. So that's another way to look at turning your cash cycle into a very small amount of time. The smaller the better, the smaller the less working capital you actually need. So going beyond this, we can look at the cash cycle equals the operating cycle minus the accounts payable period. So if you think about it, the accounts payable period is from the time that the inventory or the stock that you're using to build your product comes in until you pay them. That's the accounts payable period. Well, the operating cycle is from the time that the material comes in until you get paid. So the cash cycle is the difference, the gap in there. And that's what you're concerned about, is how do I finance that? The longer this period is, the longer that you, or the more capital you actually need. So in practice, the inventory period, the accounts receivable period, the accounts payable period are measured in days in inventory, days in receivable, and days in payable. So we're talking about days here, not amounts, because it's how many days can you do this for. And so that puts a size difference on them. So let's look at this in the next example, and we'll turn this into days.